Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the TMI Show. It's Friday, August 14th, 2026. I'm Manila Chan. That be Ted Rall, producer Robbie lurking in the background. And we have hit our unique chatter quota. So thank you guys for helping support the show in that way, because the new metrics, and we're with Rumble, and we're still trying to figure out how everything is going to go. I'm hearing some static. I don't know if that's me that can hear it only, or if that's
it's probably me, but we're just gonna have to live with it.
Let's see. It's going on. I wonder if it's from the headphones. But anyway, yeah, it's gone now. I don't know what you did, but you moved. Oh, it's only when it's picking up noise. Okay, that's weird. Anyway,
whatever.
So whatever. We wing it live Monday through Friday.
Gotta.
At 10 a.m. Eastern time. Please be sure to hit that like, follow, share, subscribe button, all that good stuff. As our little show continues to grow, we're quickly looking at the top 5. Ted, we got to 6 yesterday. Woo! In our time slot.
That's something.
That is something. We were like number 11 for a little bit, and then we hit number 9, and then yesterday we got to number 6, creeping up on the top 5 in this time slot. So thank you guys for that support, and welcome to all the new members. Thank you guys for joining us with the show subscribing specifically to this show. That all that money that goes into that goes directly to us, goes to help supporting the show, if I'm not mistaken, versus joining Rumble Premium. Producer Robbie says yes, that if you join just this program and become a supporting member, all that money 100% comes to us. So that might be our best bet to pay our bills with the changes that Rumble made. So that might be the best way to support the program at $5 a month. If everybody pitched in $5 a month, we could actually make a living. Imagine that, Ted.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
People know they have to pay for content now. They do know. It's
I guess it's
if you want it, you got to pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah, because of all the changes on different platforms and how they pay content creators. So I guess our best bet, our best hope, is if you guys become $5 a month subscribers. That's the only surefire way to make sure that we can keep doing this. Anyway, before we get into more serious news, Ted, I want to file this for Fun Friday. I'm going to add this to the stage about how AI and autonomous robots are definitely not ready for prime time. This just seen yesterday, in Washington, D.C., downtown, by New York Avenue. So look at this Coco food delivery robot. Look, it's struggling trying to cross the street. There it goes. look, bump. He bumps into.
Oh, I was hoping it was going to get run over by a car.
I don't know. I haven't finished watching the video. But look, it can't figure out as pedestrians are crossing. It's trying to zoom across.
It's like the Ed 209 from RoboCop trying to handle the stairs.
A part of me feels bad for it. I shouldn't, because it's a freaking robot.
In New York, someone would steal it or vandalize it.
So look, it's trying. Okay, it gets through that center median crosswalk thing, and it's waiting, and it's like shifting its wheels, and everyone's just kind of staring at it as it passes by. So it can't really get across the street.
That's pretty funny. Thank you for sharing that.
Stupid little human Manila feels bad for it.
Yeah, that is stupid.
I know I shouldn't feel bad for it, because it's like
it must die.
I know it must.
It's evil.
I want one of the Robo-Wolves. Do you remember the Robo-Wolf story from Manila was out sick?
Those were the Japanese ones.
It was. I want one of those.
Well, everyone.
What is a Robo-Wolf?
When I get a lot of money, I'm going to get you a Robo-Wolf.
Dead serious. Yeah, it's robotic wolf. They're made and sold in Japan.
They're crazy looking.
And they howl. Basically, they're kind of like scarecrows, is what they're made to do.
What is their job?
They're fighting off bears.
Bears, yeah. So
in Japan?
Well, Japan has a massive bear attack problem.
No.
You don't know this?
No.
The co-host of the TMI show should know this. This is a major TMI topic.
And you're Asian.
It was something.
We have beef with Japan.
this show followed the bear attack situation for like the better part of a month. So I'm not even kidding. Okay, so I mean, I know I joke around, but like this is actually true. There are thousands of bear and human interactions in Japan every year. The bears are living like on top of the humans, and they're more aggressive there than they are in the U.S. They attack people like all the time. So,
oh my God.
and so especially farmers, in Japan, farms are right outside of cities, right? The bears be coming up, and they're scaring and not to mention they're attacking animals. So they're scaring the shit out of farmers. So they developed these glowing eye, scare wolves.
Scare wolf. Okay.
Although they're
And
really
does
scary.
it
Yeah,
work? Do the bears like get scared off?
Oh yeah, bears and wolves do not get along like at all.
Oh.
yeah.
And so,
Oh.
but no, I want to get one, and I want to walk it down Main Street, Kalispell on a leash. you think I jest?
No, oh,
I am.
just because I
dead
laugh
serious.
doesn't mean that I think you're.
That's
joking.
what you want to do with all the millions that Rumble's going to pay us?
That's going to be that's it.
And Manchild, thank you for the donation. Manchild says, time to create that OnlyFans account, y'all. Yeah, I guess we got to think about that. We're still, this is like a new thing that Rumble is doing, so we got to kind of wait and see how the payout shakes out and how many content creators they've culled.
Cold, yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
The number of creators that they cull does not affect our payroll.
Unfortunately, we thought it was going to.
We
were kind of misled into believing that it
because
was.
we were told one thing. The math, though, is something entirely different. Rumble is really pushing more into a subscription model, at least until next year, when you can allow Rumble's new AI system that they call Quake to train using the video and audio from the live streams.
We're going to teach their AI about poop, obviously.
And robowolves.
That's right. All right, let's get into the jokes. I know Ted's got
also, biology can be used to protect your country against migrants. Like you just wolves, piranhas, bears. You do all these things, and so this India's already doing it with Bangladesh. If it works for them and it's not racist, then obviously it works for us. It's not racist either.
I'm for the American Gladiators border crossing. That's I'm just saying. I think it'll be, and we can televise it and make money. Like it can go to America's coffers only to use within America. It cannot be repurposed to like send out to Israel or be sent out to whatever DoD program. It has to be used for like purposes within our borders. If we do the American Gladiators border plan, it's non-lethal and fun. So, all right, let's get to the news. All right. First things up. So Luigi Mangione, guys, back in court today. He may be about to make a major legal move and potentially complicate the murder case against him in the process. Mangione, now 28, is expected to plead guilty today in a Manhattan federal court to charges connected to the 2024 killing of the UnitedHealth CEO Brian Thompson, according to folks familiar with the negotiation between him and the feds. But here's the wrinkle. Mangione is not charged with murder in the federal case. The federal charges center on stalking that resulted in Thompson's death, and that carries the possibility of life in prison. Mangione had been scheduled to go to trial on those charges back in January. Meanwhile, his separate state murder trial starts September 8th. So that means a federal guilty plea could set off an immediate fight over whether New York, the state of New York, can still prosecute him for murder. Okay, Ted, you got to mute. It's picking up every noise.
Okay, I'll mute.
Okay. Especially your sniffs. That's what it's picking up. So Mangione's attorneys have argued from the beginning that the state and federal cases are built on essentially the same facts or evidence, and that trying him twice amounts to the government getting, as they put it, two bites at the same apple. Prosecutors, however, disagree. The Manhattan DA is expected to argue that murder and federal stalking are legally distinct offenses protecting different interests, meaning the state case can continue without violating double jeopardy protection. And both prosecutions have already been trimmed down. A federal judge earlier had dismissed two charges, including one that could have exposed Mangione to the death penalty. Now, in the state case, a terrorism charge was also tossed for insufficient evidence. What remains is a second-degree murder charge carrying a potential sentence of 25 to life. The case has been politically and culturally explosive from the start, fueled by public anger over the health insurance industry and an uncomfortable wave of support for Mangione. But Friday, today, this may change the legal chessboard entirely. A guilty plea would not end the case. It could simply move the biggest fight from whether Mangione committed the crime to how many times the government gets to prosecute him for it. So it's a very it's confusing, Ted, because I do agree with his attorneys, with Luigi's attorneys, that this feels like the government's trying to get two bites at the apple, because one is the feds and one's the state. But if he pleads guilty to the federal charges of stalking that results in death, that I think is merely a ploy, I guess, to, I don't know, would that secure him in a federal pen versus like the New York jail system?
Oh, of course. Yeah, if he's convicted, yeah, he would definitely go to federal prison rather than he. Of course, he could end up in supermax, right? But I think it's unlikely because it's his first offense, and it's not like he killed more than one person. So he would end up in a maximum security, probably in a maximum security federal penitentiary, right, somewhere. It could be
Would
anywhere in
those
the
be
United
better?
States.
Would that be better than any of New York State's federal or
Probably, yeah.
corrections?
Yeah, the New York State prisons are old, and it's not as shitty as California, where it's all run by gangs, but
That's
it's
right.
like, but it's definitely shitty. So, if you're looking as a quality of life perspective,
Yeah.
definitely you prefer. I mean, the hierarchy of the prison experience in the U.S. is like local jails are the absolute worst.
Really?
And they're the most dangerous, they're the most foul, and they're the most abusive. And then you get, then you go up the chain. The states are in the state prison systems suck. Obviously, the South is worse than the North, etc. But in the East is in the West is worse than the East. But you basically the Fed is the least bad scenario.
Yeah, that's what I feel like would be like if I were Luigi's mom, that if my kid was going to get carted off to the clink, I would
Uh huh.
hope it's the federal system.
Yeah.
And you're less likely, even if the death penalty were on the table, even if it was on the table, you're less likely to be offed by the feds than you are in the states. I think the last bless you. I think the last federal
Thank you.
execution might have been over a decade ago, whereas states, I don't know about New York in particular, but states off people all the time. So if like you were in the South, like Florida, Alabama, Georgia, they're like getting rid of death row very quickly. So
That is not true. I wish it was. They are very
what,
slow.
in Florida? No, so
Well,
they're both
everywhere.
slow, but the feds haven't executed somebody in over a decade.
Epstein disagrees because just
Well,
because there's no
no,
official, just
I'm
because you're not
talking
taken out
about
and
an
hung,
official execution. Robbie, if we want to say that, then we're going to say that the fucking CIA offs people every fucking day. That's
they
not what we're
do.
saying here. That's not what we're saying here. We're talking about a proper federal execution on the books. It hasn't happened in over a decade. So we know that we're not talking about Epstein here. We're talking about like a true actual execution? Like, do they off people in prison all the time? Of course.
Epstein
Of
was
course.
executed.
Off the
He was
books.
executed.
Yeah, but he wasn't
Yeah.
executed. He was murdered.
You know what we're talking about here. So don't convolute the topic. Go away. Goodbye. So I don't know. Anything else you want to add to that, Ted? Other than we're watching the case. I got a 7-year-old
That
knocking
could
on my
very
door.
well break while we're on the air. Look, here I got to say, I'm going to avoid repeating my usual joke about how this incident was a victimless crime, but it is nevertheless. Look, Luigi Mangione is a resistance fighter. He is accused of killing one of the worst people in the world. You know, the CEOs of these healthcare, I shouldn't say it's not a healthcare company. It's a it's a health rationing company that basically prevents people from getting health care. It's a health prevention company, right? So it's literally a it's a sickness illness profiteer is what it is. So for someone who is any top executive at these companies, um, I want to put this in a way that will not cause problems on the internet. They will not be missed if they are unalived. Let's put it that way. And
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 the
the
guy
world
was
is a better
young.
place without them.
Yeah, but Ted, look, Brian Thompson is not Brian Thompson. He's one of a zillion suits that will
Yep,
replace him.
that's
So,
correct. However, so I mean, look, obviously, if this happened more often, right? Like, you know, this isn't a revolution. It's an act of I guess you could say it's an act of resistance or an act of terrorism, depending on how you look at it. But imagine if it happened so often that, like, let's say someone called you and said, "Hey, Manila, you want to be you want to earn $1 million a year as a healthcare executive," and you were like, literally had to tell your husband and your kid, the good news is I've been offered $1 million. The bad news is there's a good chance I'll be murdered.
more like $26 million.
Okay,
Rachel Maddow money.
well, let's
Okay.
say it's $26 million a year, but let's just say the chances were 50% that you won't live a year. Are you going to take
Right.
that money?
Like anytime I walk out the door, there's a 50-50 chance I might be dead.
Right. I'm going to say a lot of people are going to just not do that job anymore. And that's going to force some changes. It would have to become that dangerous. It's not that dangerous. It happened to one guy. All the healthcare CEOs took their names and photos down from their company websites. They've hired they certainly have enough money to beef up their
Sure.
security and hire a giant and buy a giant dog and put in more motion detectors in their
Maybe a robo wolf.
maybe a couple of robo wolves. Yeah. So they're so they have that ability. So, but you see, I mean, I guess the whole point. You know what the death of Brian Thompson's like? It's like that old joke about, like, what do you call 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. It's like that, right? I mean, it's a start, but I mean,
I gotta
nothing.
wonder.
Yeah.
Brian Thompson, I think at the time that he died, I think he was like 46 or so. I mean, he was right around my age. You would not think, like, when the news broke, I was expecting to see a grizzled old man, right? Somebody that looked like Steny Hoyer, right? Like,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I was expecting to see, like, if you're a top healthcare executive, I was expecting to see somebody that looks like any senator from Capitol Hill, right? I was not expecting to see, like, a middle-aged, a 45, 46-year-old man, young guy, right? Not a gray hair on his head. I gotta wonder how somebody that young climbed up the ladder that quickly. Like, what do you gotta do to what do you do to climb up the healthcare executive?
You flip beds. That's how you do it. It's all about the numbers. So seriously, that's how you do it.
Like,
You
at
push
the
through.
insurer level, like,
Yeah.
how did he become an executive so young? It's not like he was a rookie executive either. So let's assume he was like 40 when he got to the C level. How does how does somebody that young, like what, how do you define precocious in that industry? Like how do you get there to that
by
level?
being by being ruthless. I mean, it's all about profit. Listen, Luigi did not commit murder, in my opinion. He what he did was an act of self defense. That's how I look at it. Because Brian Thompson and people like him directly profit off of the pain, misery, and death of other people. That is the industry, and he was engaged in an act of preemptive self defense for all those people who are being victimized. The problem is that we don't have enough Luigis. We need thousands of Luigis, tens of thousands of Luigis. But to answer your question, that's how you get there. You get there by not having a soul, by and by
What, like
enhancing.
you have like caseloads or something as you
Yeah,
build up the career, and then you're like decline that person, decline that, like is that how you move up in that
yeah,
industry? Like what?
100%.
Yeah.
Because as you got to show a profit. So, like for example, let's just say, for example, if you're an adjuster at United Healthcare, you have a
Oh,
quota.
like a regular, like a car insurance adjuster, is that like a
Yeah,
similar thing?
yeah. So the insurance claim comes in from Logan Health or wherever else. You go through, you review all the claims, you're looking for errors and things that you're able to reject. You have a quota for the number of people you have to reject every single month. You have a quota. So
A
that's the only.
rejection?
Yes, you have a rejection quota. It is the only industry where a customer pays for a service that you then have no obligation to provide. Matter of fact, you are penalized if you provide it, and that's how you excel. That is the business model.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the specifics of how you get to be a CEO of a company like United Healthcare, it's like any company, right? It's like Robbie said. If you're a junior executive and you show that you have new, innovative ways to increase profits, they're going to elevate
Oh.
you, right? I mean, they're gonna say, "Oh, good job! Like you
I've
thought
never
of
been
that."
part of the corporate world, so
Yeah, when you have
I
big
don't know how that
ideas,
works.
when you have big ideas, like like for example, when I was at the syndicate, I was, I guess, the number four executive, third or fourth executive there, and at one point, it did cross my mind that like the president was getting old and was looking to retire, and I was like, oh, like what if I wanted to be president, right? Well, I had a big idea. My big idea, and I did do this, was to take some of our comic strips, turn them into graphic novels, and then license
Oh,
those to Hollywood and take a cut of the movie income. And we did that with a couple of things. But, it was like while the company was kind of like spinning out of control, and I kind of decided I didn't really want to be a president of a company. It just wasn't for me for a variety of reasons. But that's sort of like, I mean, that's fairly innocent, right? I mean, that's like, okay, I mean, nothing bad would happen. I mean, the cartoonists would make more money. We would have made more money. It would have been a win-win for everybody. It wasn't going to screw anyone over. But if you work for a health, the thing is, the entire nature of that. This is not an added value industry, right? Like if
oh,
all health insurers, let's just say, we had, Ted gets his way, and we have national health care, and all doctors and nurses and hospitals work for the federal government from now on. Well, the insurance companies based in Hartford and in Minnesota, they all go out of business, right? Do we miss them? No, the American people do not miss them at all. They provide no value whatsoever. It's not like a company that makes cars. A company that makes cars takes metal and plastic and knowledge and builds cars and distributes cars and puts people in cars and allows people to get to work every day, right? That's added value. But like
sure.
in this case,
Oh,
you're
I see.
literally
Yeah, I see what you're
it's
saying.
it's literally a like
It's a
one of the
racket.
commenters said, it's a protection racket.
It's
It's
a racket.
literally like if you don't pay this money, you could get a terrible disease and die. So you have to pay this money. Um, in other words, it's like you're forced to pay for it. It's like a property tax, right? Like want to pay it. I guess maybe people who have kids in the local school district some of them might want to pay. But most people, they're just forced to, otherwise the town's going to take their house, right? So this is not like, hey, that's a nice sweater. I'd like to buy that sweater. Then I'm going to have to get to wear that sweater. That's added value. It's a voluntary economic transaction. This is like nobody buys health insurance because they want to.
Right. Well, we were for a point in time during the Obamacare years, we were forced to, or else it was a crime not to. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
well, it was
the government cartel
technically
forced you.
It's still on the books. What's so interesting is
it still technically a crime to not have health insurance?
Yeah, like when you do your taxes every year, you're supposed to fill out Form 1098 and submit that with your taxes, even though nothing happens if you didn't have insurance. So what Trump did is Trump didn't eliminate the requirement; he just took away the punishment. So there's no punishment, but you still are supposed to do it.
Just to notify the federal government that I don't have health insurance.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
What a weird, it's such a strange, convoluted system that we have here. And obviously, like Luigi, I'm not a fan of vigilantism. I'm not a fan of acts of violence. But I do understand, based on history, that when you live in a period of like extreme inequality, and this is coming from a rich kid that went to an Ivy League school, by the way, like let's not forget, Luigi Mangione comes from a wealthy family out here, like in the DC metro.
Well, he wasn't poor, and he didn't suffer.
He's not a poor kid.
Yeah.
No. He had some long-term health, like ailments or something, like some physical ailment that was like creeping up on him. Because he's young, he's only 28. But when we have seen all through history that when you have extreme inequality, and obviously declining trust in these institutions, such as, I don't know, like the NIH, for example, after COVID, thanks, Dr. Fauci, we obviously distrust the corporations and increasingly are distrustful of the government. When you have all of the confluence of things happening at once, you are going to produce the Luigis. Like that's what's going to happen. So
yeah, true.
If the folks on Capitol Hill, what it boils down to is if the folks on Capitol Hill, talking to you, Bernie Sanders, like I haven't heard you mention Medicare for All in 10 years. Or the Squad, where are you, Squad? You talked about that too. Where's that? Now you all are comfortably in your seats, right? They haven't talked about Medicare for All.
Not untrue.
They haven't said a fucking word. But
well, they've said a little bit. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's not. It's they certainly, in the recent primaries, like in Wisconsin and Minnesota and those places, they definitely, healthcare did come up as a topic. Yeah.
The incumbents or the people primarying them?
No, the challengers. Yeah, not the incumbents.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Good point.
I'm talking about the incumbents who are now part of the establishment, because as I used to say on Radio Sputnik, I said Mama Bear Nancy, she would raise her eyebrow and pull out the whip, and the girls, AOC, back then it was like AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Cori Bush, she pulled out the whip and the girls got in line real quick, Ted, real quick.
True.
And now you don't hear a fucking word out of those. Well, some of those women are gone, but AOC's not. And she's over here. I took some offense as looking at her starting her journey of egg freezing or whatever. And it's like, bitch, you have top tier healthcare insurance. Like, you have top insurance. What about all the poor people who are also your age who want to have children and can't afford IVF? They can't afford to freeze their eggs, but you can, and you haven't said a fucking word in at least 5 years about Medicare for All. And that was something that brought you to this office. And this girl hasn't said a peep about Medicare for All, and neither has Bernie. So I don't have any faith that any of this is going to change, but I just thought it was awfully tone deaf of AOC to I felt like it was almost flaunting like flaunting that she can do egg freezing because she can afford it. And
Yeah,
because
because
she has top tier
she
insurance.
claims that it took her years to save up
Oh, whatever.
$8,000. I mean,
Woman,
come
you're making
on.
200 grand a year.
I'm
It
like,
doesn't
yeah,
take,
did you have a
what are you
coke habit?
spending your
Where's your
money
money?
on?
Yeah, where's your money going? Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I know that like there is the theory that like you have to maintain a home in New York and in Washington, right? That remember that complaint from a few years ago? There was even a
yeah.
TV show that was like written by Gary Trudeau, who's the Doonesbury cartoonist, which was about like poor congressmen forced to shack up together in D.C.,
Yes, yes, yes.
which I
There's
guess is a
actually
phenomenon. But I mean, I'm pretty sure she has like
Hillis.
affordable rent in New York, right? So
I'm sure. Well, and look, they still do this. TMZ has opened a DC branch. Did you know that?
no, that's awesome though.
Yeah, and I've been saying this for like months because they were talking about it. So this is like inside baseball. They haven't even put it on their TMZ's website. You have to specifically search TMZ DC in TMZ's search bar. But because I've worked in this industry, like, I knew this was coming, and I've been telling people for months. I was like, oh, just wait until the paparazzi flock to DC. Capitol Hill is going to change, baby, because they are going to catch everybody cheating and like hooking up with prostitute. They're going to catch everything because these aren't journalists, they're paparazzis. They're going to
Right.
catch everything. So recently, just, I don't know, a couple days ago, when Mitch McConnell was released from whatever nursing home he was at,
Yeah,
uh,
if in fact that happened, because there's no
sure,
video at all.
whatever. Yeah,
Like
whatever.
maybe, right? Maybe.
TMZ was at his property, or at least one of them. McConnell has a couple of properties in and around the Capitol. So TMZ was
Had
staked
before
out.
he died.
Well, yes, before he vanished.
I mean, yes.
TMZ was staked out at the property nearest to the Capitol, and they were staked out, and I guess Tom Tillis didn't know that they were there, and they come busting out because Tom Tillis is seen red-handed, key in hole, turning the doorknob, and the TMZ pap was like, Mr. Tillis, what are you doing at Mitch McConnell's house? Why do you have a key? And he says, oh,
Gay lover.
I rent a room with Mitch.
What?
Yeah.
He's like he's Airbnb-ing it?
So like I think like he admitted it because the way the paparazzi just obviously ambushed him,
And he had to come up with some answer, and
he was just like,
and because he was, despite being a congressman, he just told the truth.
yeah, he was just like, I I live here. I rent a room from Mitch McConnell. And
That's
and
so droll.
it's so strange. But that's exactly what happens. That's so to your Doonesbury cartoon, it's true. They do that. But anyway, we obviously like went off the point here. My anger was that as a woman who obviously by whatever you want to call it, either a stroke of luck or I was doomed or whatever, I had a second surprise baby very late in life. I'm obviously much older than AOC. I'm almost 10 years older than her. And, I didn't have to go that route. And I wasn't going to go that route anyway. Like I wanted a second kid closer to after my son was born, but that didn't happen. So the surprise baby came. But AOC, the folks in Congress have top shelf insurance. And I
Yes.
felt like it was very disrespectful of her to be like, oh, I'm just showing my journey with you. This is so painful. These shots I have to give myself. It's so painful. And now I don't have a partner. And
Well, by the way, is she?
tone
I don't
deaf.
know about you, but man, if I were, you like let's say I met her for a date, and I Googled her and I found that like she's like doing this egg thing, I'd be like scared. I'd be so scared. Like, who wants to date someone who's got eggs frozen? I mean,
Why
I
would that
certainly
scare
wouldn't.
you? I had a friend who started dating this woman this couple years back because I think she might have been 40 or 41, so she was a little late to the egg freezing game anyways.
I guess
But
fetus freezing would be worse because then it's like you're not
mm,
even the dad. You're like
yeah, so this is
you're pre-cut kind of.
right. So this is like just egg freezing, and he really liked the woman, so he shared with me that he was a little concerned, and I was like, "Well, yeah, dude, because it means she wants to have a family. She's obviously hurt that her marriage fell apart. So she's trying to save what eggs she has left, right? Like she's over 40. So she wants to be a mom. So I was like, if you're not going to take her seriously, you fucking playboy, don't fuck around with her. She's over 40. Her actions show that she wants a family. And if you're not on that same track necessarily with her, but I mean, if you're not on that track, don't fuck around with women who are doing stuff like that, because that clearly indicates that they're at a different mental phase, emotional phase in their
Well,
life.
it goes both ways too. I mean, I dated a girl who she was, at some point she sort of like, by the way, I really, 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 really want to have a kid. And I was like, I don't. I did that. Don't want to have any more. And we broke up over it, amicably. But she really pressured. She was kind of like, come on, come on, come on. Like, you want to. It would be great. Wouldn't it be great? You'd love it. Come on. And it was like, no, I don't think it. I
Was
mean,
this before or after you had your son already?
after
Oh, okay. You're like, I already have a
many
kid.
years, many, many years after. Many.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
like, I have a little human. Like it's
Not even little anymore. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, like
Yeah.
I have a grown human. I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. So it's like, I mean, the point is, like, biological clock ticking women often get very pressury.
Oh, I can see that. I can see that. Both of my kids were a surprise. I was like, I would like to have one. If it doesn't happen, it's not meant to be. That was with my son. Then I wanted to have the
Maybe
second
Bluth
one.
Funk, she says something smart in the comments. She said, better to talk about kids sooner than later. And
Yes,
it's really true. I mean, she's right.
true.
Like, I did pre-Cana because I got married in the Catholic Church. And it's a weekend, or it could be, for in our case, it was an intense weekend. And one of the exercises they did, they had all the couples in a big room together. And they said, if you'd like to have 0 kids or 1 kid, go to the left side of the room. If you'd like to have 2 or more kids, go to the right side of the room. And then it's like, are you on the same side of the room as your fiance? If not, you have some talking to do. And these are people who were engaged to be married and had a
Right,
date all set and a church reserved.
right.
And there were many of us who were not on the same side of the room as our partners. So people don't talk about it enough. I mean,
That's
people
so
should talk
weird.
about kids. They should talk about money. They
I
should
talked
talk
about
about
all the uncomfortable stuff.
retirement, all that stuff.
I
Yeah.
talked about all that uncomfortable shit. I mean, for all we know, that could be why AOC's fiance, she and her fiance split up.
Oh yeah, maybe she wanted kids and he didn't.
Right.
Maybe. And she's like,
Maybe.
I'm 36 years old. Well, at the time they broke up, apparently they've been broken up for 2 years.
Well,
Um,
maybe. People don't know.
yeah, nobody knows anything. But
And Sir Bikesalot, thank you for the donation. Sir Bikesalot says, hey, you got to interview Evan Barker, former Democratic operative and author of Nothing Left. She was recently on Jimmy Dore and was on the inside witnessing the betrayal of the left. Oh, I've got to look up. I thought Evan would be a boy. Evan Barker, female. Okay.
Evan's one of those. No, I know a female Evan.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Well, anyway,
It's
we
like
should probably
it's like
move on to the
Jean.
next
It's one of
topic.
those. It's like a
Gene.
trans name. The name is itself trans. You don't have to be trans to have it, but yeah.
Well, you know
Or
what?
Kim. I knew a male Kim.
Well, yeah, and like Shannon.
There's Kim.com, right?
Yes, Kim.com. Shannon is a boy or girl name. Typically, I think girl, but
Yeah, one of my best friends is a male Shannon.
boy Shannon. Yeah, there's boy Shannons. It's,
Hmm.
Like
It's
Space
not a nice
Coonin?
thing to do to your children, by the way.
No, no. But I mean, in 2026, Ted, if you have, you can just pick a name like that and wait for the child to decide what gender they want to be,
Right, 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 right.
because
What
then
a
it's like
joy.
neutral.
What a joy that would be. Yeah.
It's joy parenting in this
So yeah,
new
I
millennium.
guess that's the thing, right? The gender reveal can happen multiple times in your life now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or you can just wait till the kid decides.
What I'm saying is the gender reveal can be several times for the same person.
Well, I know that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that the kid, because 6-year-olds make the best decisions. So we can just wait till they're 6. All right, let's go to the next topic because you probably have DMZ after this, yeah?
No DMZ today, doing it tomorrow. Stantis is not free
Saturday?
today. Yeah, we're doing it tomorrow.
A Saturday DMZ?
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
All right, we better
So we got to
we
mash.
better do some stories.
That's your turn,
Is
Teddy.
it? Wait, is it? All right, here you read this one because I'm having a hard time getting it. Okay, just do it.
Oh, this is Ted's Manhattan story. Like this
All
is
right, just
bad for me.
skip to the next one, and I've got to I'm
This is
having
like
tech issues here.
okay.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
I'm gonna do
I
a little
apologize.
science history story. Okay, so thousands of years ago, something blasted Earth with an enormous dose of high energy particles. There were no satellites to record it, obviously, except for the alien ones. I just want to say
Right.
they were there. Like we just don't know how to like crack the code to get the alien satellites and all of that. It's true, all true. So human satellites weren't there to record it. So no scientists back then to measure it, no electric grids to fail. But the trees noticed. This is a Dr. Reese type story. Scientists have discovered sudden spikes of radioactive carbon 14 preserved in ancient tree rings. Now, 14, I had to look this up too because I didn't have Dr. Reese to ask. 14 is the isotope mass number. So, carbon 14 preserved in ancient tree rings. When energetic particles from space strike Earth's atmosphere, they trigger reactions that create carbon 14. Trees absorb that carbon as they grow, effectively preserving a year-by-year record of extreme events in the sky. These spikes are known as Miyake events, after the physicist Fusa Miyake, whose team discovered an enormous jump dating more or less around 775 Common Era. Hate that.
You hate the Common Era?
I hate that they're going with CE, yeah, instead of like AD, like whatever. All right, Common Era. So evidence from tree rings and polar ice strongly indicates several were caused by extreme solar particle storms. The 774 event alone appears to have been at least 5 times stronger than anything directly measured during the modern scientific era. And researchers have found that even bigger events further back in time, including one that was roughly 14,300 years ago. So what happens if one hits us now? That's the question. First, this would not mean people suddenly dropping from radiation sickness. So that's good.
That's something.
So that's good. That's something to look forward to. Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field provide powerful enough protection, at least at ground level. Not saying no toxicity, by the way. The article doesn't say
Just more sunscreen.
just not no toxicity to humans, but if this happens again, you're not going to drop dead. So it's not like an instant boom, blast from the sun and we're dead. But for technology, that's a different thing. An extreme particle storm could damage or disable satellites, corrupt onboard computers, degrade solar panels, and disrupt GPS, communications, and navigation. Astronauts could face dangerous radiation exposure, while high-altitude polar flights could require rerouting because passengers and crew would receive elevated doses of...
Well, not to mention the planes would be falling out of the sky and running into each other because of the GPS and the navigation.
Like, what the fuck? But at least we're not dropping dead. The planes might drop, but Ted, it's Fun Friday. We're trying to have good news here.
Well, this is not good news. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can avoid the thousands of planes dropping from the sky if this happens again, then it's good news. The atmosphere itself could also take a hit. Modeling suggests exceptionally powerful solar proton storms can chemically deplete the ozone. Oh, that's
Yeah, so
fun.
that's not good.
Temporarily,
So
though.
it's a giant can of Lysol, is what it is.
Or Aquanet. Or like Australia has that hole in the ozone, right? So like their sun can be especially toxic for
I
you.
think I'm like 2% Aquanet from being around my mom when she would spray it in the bathroom with the door closed.
That's what gave you the asthma, Ted.
Well, there's so many candidates for what gave me asthma. I mean,
Aquanet.
was it driving a taxi? Was it, with no air
70s,
conditioning?
80s Aquanet. I promise you.
Could have been the Aquanet, yeah.
70s Aquanet. So obviously, if the ozone depletes, you're going to get huge doses of UV radiation. One study estimated global ozone losses of around 4%, lasting 2 to 3 years in an extreme historical scale scenario. And if such a particle blast arrived alongside a powerful coronal mass ejection, the resulting geomagnetic storm could additionally threaten electrical grids and transformers. But I thought the Russians already do that, Ted.
That's right.
Rachel Maddow has been telling us that for 10 years. That distinction matters because the particle radiation and the grid damaging geomagnetic storms are related solar hazards, but they're not the same thing. Scientists cannot predict when the next Miyake event will happen, but ancient trees are telling us that it can happen because it did happen. So, how about that? So, all these ancient trees that they're cutting out the rings and doing the carbon dating, and you please break up with the person if they don't understand, like, or at least know that carbon dating exists. Break up with.
Well, no, but Robbie doesn't believe in carbon dating.
No, he doesn't believe in it. That's different than acknowledging that such technology exists. Rejecting it is different. So that's a different animal. But anyway,
Okay,
that's
right.
kind of purifying. If it happened before, right? Like we talk about the big earthquakes like in California, like if the big one has hit before cameras were invented, then surely a big one is going to happen again.
No, we know it's going to happen. I mean,
Right.
there's no
So
question. I mean, of course, it's that thing where it's like, well, we don't know when, but we know it will.
So this big solar particle blast that the sun decides to give, like it's like a big solar burp.
Yeah, yeah.
When somebody like kind of burps in your face and you're like, "Oh God!" Like, "Oh my God!" Like,
Like,
stop!
stop.
Disgusting! Just God, turn away. The sun did that to Earth.
That's the thing is we think of, I mean, that's the thing, right? We think of like the ecosystem as all being like sort of, we don't think about shit coming from outer space, right? I mean, but this, there's solar flares. There's this story, meteorites. Right now, we're in the middle of the Perseid meteor showers, right? Which is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reminder that the Earth is constantly being bombarded by rocks and other debris from outer space. So I mean, we're not alone here. It feels like we're alone, but we're not.
Yeah, so I just thought that was an interesting Friday science-y story of like, hey, among the list of a gajillion things that can kill you, the sun might kill
Mr.
you.
And I thought Mr. Miyagi was a nice guy. Little did I know.
No, Miyake.
Oh, okay, right. That's
That's
the karate.
Miyagi.
Miyagi from the Karate Kid is a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Miyake. Miyake.
Careful, grasshopper. Okay.
All right. All right, now Ted's story.
New York has always been expensive. Manhattan has now decided that expensive needs to get pricier. The average Manhattan apartment rented last month, July, for $6,655. I'm going to linger on that a little bit. $6,600 is the average Manhattan apartment rental. That is 10% higher than a year ago. I got to say, if memory serves, just about 3-4 years ago, it was only $5,000 a month, right? So the rent is too damn high. That
Oh
works
my
out to nearly
God.
$80,000 a year, and that's, of course, you have to earn that money and pay taxes on it. So it's, you probably have to make about $120,000, $130,000 a year to pay that $80,000 a year before food, utilities, transportation, or the privilege of maybe leaving your apartment. Studios now average $4,088 a month. A one bedroom is $5,486. A two bedroom is $8,054. And the average three bedroom, assuming you could find one in New York City, because there are not very many of them, they run $12,228 a fucking month. So averages can get pulled upwards by luxury apartments, so the median gives you a better idea of what a typical renter is encountering as opposed to the average. That's also pretty shitty. Corcoran puts the median rent in New York City at five. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. I must have been thinking about that. $5,000 a month was the median rent. $5,295 a month, up 6% from last year. So basically, part of the problem is supply. There were only 5,200 active rental listings last month, down 22% from a year earlier. The vacancy rate is only 1.5%, supposedly, meaning that only 3 apartments out of every 200 are listed as available. That doesn't mean that they're not empty, just available. Higher mortgage rates are also keeping some buyers in rentals longer, which creates more competition. Meanwhile, New York is continuing to debate whether regulations, construction barriers, and recent housing policies are affecting the supply. Brooklyn isn't much cheaper. Their median rent in Brooklyn is now $42.57 in the month of July. So basically, this is horrid. Now, I want to also make people aware of something else. In New York City, in order to qualify to rent an apartment, you have to earn 40 times or more a year the monthly rent. So let's say you rent an apartment for $5,000 a month. You have to pay 5,000 times 40 is 200,000. You have to show on your tax return that as an individual you earn $200,000 or more. If you're self-employed, that means you have to earn, let's say you deduct $50,000 in stuff. You must show that you earn over $250,000 gross income. So basically, you have to have a real salary of $200K or more for a $5,000 a month apartment. For that $12,000 a month apartment, you have to earn $480,000 a year in order to qualify for it. Even if, let's just say, you're like, oh, I inherited $10 million from my grandmother. To get the apartment, you have to show that income. So it's
Holy moly.
it's insane. It's insane.
So I got to ask you this. Okay, so relative to the 90s versus now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The friend's apartment.
Right. Which was obviously a set, right? I mean,
obviously. But if that were a real apartment in Manhattan where they supposedly lived.
Well, how many roommates were there? 3?
No, they only had the 2 bedrooms, but you saw how big the
right. So, well, a 2-bedroom apartment. Well, so according to okay,
in the
so
90s.
Do you remember what neighborhood that was supposed to be in?
I don't think they ever specified if they were like Midtown, Upper East, Upper West. I don't know. They never really specified.
Yeah, it's sort of like in Seinfeld. They don't really. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so it's in the West Village, the Friends apartment.
Friends apartment was supposed to be West Village.
Yeah, it's on Bedford Street and Grove. Of course, it was filmed at a soundstage. The actual address is 90 Bedford Street in New York City. Oh. Okay, so so that's hilarious. Okay, so a 2-bedroom there. It's hard to imagine how it would be under $10,000 a month. I mean,
and the girls,
it's the West Village. I mean, it's one of the most desirable neighborhoods in New York City.
I know. So that's what's funny to me, because I mean, in the 90s, what would that have cost?
In the 90s,
mid 90s, 95.
I think back then it would have been about 4.
But incomes were
3,500.
Wow, and I think they referenced that it was rent controlled or something, and that one of their grandma, like one of their
Okay, so that
grandmoms.
helps explain it. I do know someone who lives
They
in a
referenced that
in a
at one
very
point.
small apartment in a studio in the West Village, and he has this place that he got from his grandmother, rent controlled, not rent stabilized. Rent control is different. So rent stabilization, only applies to a certain number of apartments in New York City, not very many actually,
Okay.
and every year the rent control board gets together and sets the renewal rate for 1 and 2 year leases. And
Oh,
so
I see.
typically it's like 3% increase or 6%. But basically you'll get the apartment, you know that it can't go up more than what
There's a ceiling.
the rent stabilization board does. Rent control means the rent is frozen
Wow.
like
In
a
time.
in frozen in time, right? So the only way it can increase is under very limited circumstances. So, but basically doesn't happen. I have a friend who has a rent control. Now those haven't increased since
Wow.
the early 1970s. Rent control was abolished in the 1970s. So those are grandfathered in. So there is no rent
Oh,
control in New
I
York City.
see. Because I think,
There's old rent control, but like no market rate.
yeah, I think that was the theory, like in Friends fandom, which
Yeah,
I'm
you can. Like, so I
I'm
have a friend. He
deep
has a studio that he
into.
pays $300 a month for, in the village, which would easily be like $3,500 or $4,000 a month now.
Holy moly. Yeah,
So
they mentioned they mentioned at one time early in the series that it was like, I don't know, Rachel's grandmother's apartment. Not Rachel, sorry. Monica's grandmother's apartment, and that she and Ross inherited from grandma, and that it was rent controlled.
right, so that okay, so that's feasible. I mean, I got to
So,
tell you. So do you remember Single White Female
yeah, yeah.
with what was it?
Jennifer Jason Lee
Jennifer Jason Lee, and was it Bridget Fonda?
and Bridget
Uh,
Fonda.
and Bridget Fonda, right? And anyway, I saw that at a movie theater on the Upper West Side, and then you as the reveal of where the apartment is becomes clear, it's at the Apthorpe, which is this incredibly luxurious old school apartment building
Like
on
deco
Broadway.
building.
It's beyond okay. It's like Gilded Age. It literally
Wow.
has an interior courtyard so you can bring your horse and carriage in.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
it's
How
with the
cool.
big gates and stuff. There's only like a handful of buildings like that. I don't think there's even 10 buildings like that in all of New York City. And
Wow.
people start the audience starts howling with laughter, like no comment, right? Nobody says like
Right.
what the fuck, because literally these were supposed to be two girls who moved from the Midwest to be
Right.
interns, and it's like you're interns, like this is an apartment at the time the movie came out, like you couldn't like get in there for under $10 million. Today it would be 30 or $40 million for the unit. Okay, so
Holy moly.
and like the place has these cavernous ceilings that are like 25 feet high. You're like, are you kidding me? Like a Saudi sheik would have to like dig deep into the seat cushions to get that place. Like it was
Jeez
just
Louise.
it
This
was
is, I
so
mean, that just
funny.
goes to show, like, I mean, I even knew in California that even in the 90s when I was watching Friends, that I couldn't fully suspend disbelief because, as a kid growing up in a big city like in Los Angeles, like you're always aware of how much things cost, right? So,
Sure,
like, because you can't, and especially growing up relatively poor, hearing your parents talk about how much things cost. So when
sure.
in high school watching Friends, I'm like, how the fuck would Rachel being a coffee shop waitress
Yeah,
and
like
Monica
come on, stop.
Monica being a low level, maybe at most she was a sous chef, right? How can they afford this ginormous apartment that looked bigger than the house I grew up in? Like,
Yeah, it's like stop, just stop.
and so this just, tells you right there the how much
Now
things
the
cost
thing
now.
is,
Like,
now
oh my
here's the
God.
thing, right? Like about this story, I don't understand how this makes any fucking sense. Okay, I mean, New York City has I mean, okay, a lot of rich people live in New York City, but the point is that it's a city that has a lot of working class people, right? I mean, it's like, and not to mention, a city can't function without people who have normal jobs. And normal jobs don't pay $200,000 a year or more. But if you move from, flyover country to the Midwest to New York, even if you're okay, so my advice for someone who's like 21, like I want to live in New York, it would be like, oh, I want to live in Manhattan. Okay, well, you can't live in Manhattan, right? Like
Right.
you can't even live in Inwood, which is Upper Manhattan. It's like,
Okay.
but okay, you can live out in like Canarsie, which is Eastern Brooklyn. You can live in Ozone Park, which is Eastern Queens, out by the
Can
airport.
you live up? Can you afford like up by the Apollo, like going way up the
Oh,
90s?
oh no, that's my old neighborhood. No, no fucking way. I mean,
Not.
no, I
Oh.
mean, I had a 2 bedroom and I was paying $5,150, and
Oh
it was
God.
considered a bargain.
Oh, I know. It still hurts. It's just when I hear it,
They
it's like
increased, they
more than my
increased, they
mortgage.
they they jacked up the rent when I left, and to 5,800, and
Oh,
I was in the
painful.
hundreds. Okay, and the
Painful.
neighborhood the neighborhood had gone to shit. The Apollo's on 125th Street, but Harlem is, forget Harlem. I mean, even East Harlem, which used to be affordable, is
Yeah.
not anymore. No, you Manhattan
Wow.
is over. So you might
So,
be
well, who does that leave moving in if it's not the young New York
only
is
rich
not New York
only
if
rich
it's not
people can do
young
it.
rich old people and like
Yeah,
douchey Wall Street guys.
yeah, it's bros. It's like, yeah, it's assholes.
Yeah, because what would New York be without at one point I dreamt of
Normal
being
people, waiters, right? I mean,
I dreamt
bartenders.
of being one of those girls. Like I used to dream of working for the New York Times, right? When I was a kid, when I respected the New York
And
Times.
they don't pay. The New York Times doesn't pay an entry level reporter $200,000 a year.
Right.
They pay
So
maybe
what would New York
60.
City what would New York City even be without people like that though? If this is what I mean,
Well,
it's
that's the big question, and the answer is it's going to be, look. It's a city that has, I've watched it throughout my life, um, become less interesting, less
mm,
diverse. I mean, like,
that.
so there's more chain stores. There's no, it's kind of
Oh,
like,
Times Square has become fucking Disneyfied.
and everything has.
Disney.
I mean,
It's all it's Disney.
look, there's a Target. There's a
There's an
Home
M
Depot. There's a
there's
Home
an M&M
Depot on
store.
23rd Street. It's just like that shit's not supposed to be in Manhattan.
I
Um,
know. Times even if I miss the days of Times Square still being like grimy where I have to like clutch my backpack against my body to and look around and be
it's
like
CVS. It's not
act like
Dwayne
I'm going to
Reed
shiv you.
anymore. It's
I
it's
know, Dwayne Reed.
it's like nothing is local. There's no little
Yeah.
quirk. There's no more quirky boutiques, used vintage clothing stores.
Yeah.
There's no vintage clothing stores. There are no, I mean, used bookstores are a thing of the past. All that stuff.
Old New York, man.
Diners are in deep trouble. I mean, there's hardly any diners left. They used to be everywhere. So, you know,
Or by the slice pizza shops like I used to.
those are still around. Um, Not
But
in the
it just
same numbers, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. It saddens me to hear that those numbers and people are like, "Oh yeah, New York's
And there's a lot of
expensive."
empty, and I mean, look, I don't think it's sustainable, and I think New York is ground zero for like what I've described here as the city problem, which is post COVID. What is the point of a city? I mean, if you just think about it, like what is urbanization? Urbanization is a model where people aggregate because all the jobs and major
Sure.
employers are in one place. They all want to live near so all of those are in one place. Then people buy homes or rent homes near there, and then that's a city, right? And then and then a city creates. But if you're working at home, you don't need to be in the city. So the only reason to be in the city then is like what? To shop at interesting stores
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to date and to eat at
To
interesting
go to
restaurants.
bars and
Well, the
stuff
thing
like
is,
that was
okay, nowadays there's very few interesting restaurants in New York City the way there used to be. And also with farm to table shit, like even existing in like flyover country and in small towns,
oh,
like
I see.
you can move out and still have those experiences.
Like cool
Um,
dining. Yeah, yeah.
Dating is
Yeah, that makes
online,
sense.
it's not at bars. So you can, again, I mean, obviously higher population density means you have more choices, but then you meet your person, you partner up, you get married, then what? You don't need to be in the city. Um, Amazon, like, you can buy anything interesting you want and it'll come straight to your door. So
Yeah, but the
what
vibe,
is
like
the
that's the
point of
thing.
a city? I mean,
What
a
it, yeah,
vibe is not of it, there is a vibe, but it's not, the vibe's not
not
as
that
intense
vibe.
as it used to be. And it's like the vibe is all there is, right? And the question is, can you charge $55,000 a month for a vibe? I don't think
Ugh.
so. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
because
I don't think
who can
not
afford
over
that?
time. I don't think you can.
Who can afford that? And McCaden says, Monica illegally sublet it under her grandmother's rent control.
Well, so the thing is funny is like actually you can inherit a rent controlled apartment,
That's what happened on Friends. That
but
was
it
the,
wouldn't be, it would not
yeah.
be illegal is my point.
Oh, it's not?
No, if like Monica's
So like
grandmother gave it
grandma.
to her mom and then
Yeah.
her mom gave it to her, then it would be legal. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
it
I
was
didn't watch the
handed
show,
passed
so I
down.
don't know how it worked. Yeah.
I'm a frenzy. So it was
Like in The
handed
Odd
down.
Couple was a far more realistic apartment because like they were both pretty well off. They had good jobs, right?
Or like
Um,
bosom buddies.
mm,
Nobody talks about bosom
I
buddies.
don't know.
Like
I've never heard of
you
Bosom
don't know
Buddies.
bosom buddies?
No.
Ted. It was Tom Hanks on the small screen, and I forget
What?
yeah, look it
I never
up,
even
please.
heard of this thing.
Oh my God, please look it up.
Okay.
Bosom buddies. It wasn't very, it didn't last very long, but I forget what their jobs were. But this is like young post collegiate Tom Hanks, and I forget the co-star. He had a little bit of career after, but they were supposed to be like young dudes. I don't know if they're working on Wall Street. I don't know what. I don't remember, but they were supposed to be in New York City, and their apartment was kind of like this dumpy, you know, what you expect some young 20 somethings to get in New York City, like two dudes. So it's bosom buddies. I can't believe you don't know this. This is like
Don't know it.
late 70s, early 80s before Tom
We
Hanks
got to keep
became
going,
big
but
movie.
like, yeah, no, I don't know it at all. That's weird.
Yeah, you gotta
The
look
other
that up. Okay.
apartment I'm trying to think of is that was like was the Seinfeld apartment. They lived on the east side, and it was kind of like
Yeah.
hard to see like how they could afford to live there. You know, given the fact that they no, actually, I guess they lived on the west side, but it was just weird because he's a comedian. It's like comedians don't really make any
Yes.
money. I don't know.
No, he was still supposed to be a relatively famous comedian. Like that was the point. Like because he was talking about getting a TV show with NBC and stuff, right? So that he was supposed to be famous enough. So he would have made some money. Elaine, I don't know how Elaine would have afforded her apartment being a book editor, she
Oh
was
yeah, there was no way. And then what about oh my
how
god.
Kramer afforded his apartment, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, I think that's okay because the whole Kramer thing was meant to be like his character is like, who
Some
knows what's up with
mystery.
him? He's
Yeah.
random, and it's like everyone
Yeah.
knows that guy, right? So
We all just assumed, right? We have to just assume that Kramer was independently wealthy. Like
right, or had some kind of insane grift or something. Yeah,
something. But anyway.
yeah.
All right, that's fun. But
All
New
right,
York City, I feel like
let's go back to
it's
my
the end.
story, and then we're
The
gonna.
end of New York City,
Okay, let's do the
I
last one.
think.
In 82.
Wait.
Ah, D Jaws. An 82-year-old lady in Bologna, Italy, went to the hospital with 4 days of worsening abdominal pain, constipation, nausea, and vomiting. Doctors quickly found the problem. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Oh, no. Something was blocking her small intestine. What they did not expect was for that something to jump out during surgery. Scans showed
Can
a
you imagine?
solid mass lodged in the woman's bowel, creating a small bowel obstruction, a potentially dangerous condition that can cut off blood flow and kill intestinal tissue if not relieved. They operated and removed a mass about 2 inches long. It was a phytobezoar.
No,
A
Bezoar. Remember we
Oh
talked
my
about
God,
this?
bezoar. A
The Bezoar.
phytobezoar. Bezoar. A tightly packed clump of undigested plant material. And apparently it had a little friend. As surgeons lifted the mass out, a small living creature leapt out and began crawling up the sterile surgical drapes. The team trapped it and sent it for identification. It wasn't a bug, it was a terrestrial isopod, the crustacean group that includes pill bugs, sow bugs, I don't know what that is, and the backyard favorite known as the roly-poly. No,
I
pill
say
bugs
roly-poly.
and the roly-poly are this. Roly-poly is a pill bug. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I say roly-poly where I'm from.
Roly-poly is a pill bug. Anyway, but which, by the way, they are apparently related to trilobites, those fossils. In other words, a relative of crabs and shrimp had somehow survived inside a human digestive tract. Doctors think the lady probably swallowed the animal accidentally. Well, I'm sure it was not on purpose, while eating unwashed fruit or vegetables, maybe from
Oh,
Taco Bell. Normally, something that small would be destroyed by stomach acid and digestive enzymes, but this dense mass of plant material formed a shelter around it, allowing it to survive. It's not a parasite. They don't infect people, and there's no evidence that the creature caused the obstruction. The bazoar did that. The woman recovered and is doing awesome 18 months later.
at
So,
82? Now she's 83 and a half?
yep.
But what happened to the roly poly? What was it protected? Has it been given a new lease on life? So it had to live in a very dark place.
What
I
did
mean,
happen to the roly-poly? I don't know. They didn't say.
I mean, listen,
Someone just
that's
ate it, probably.
well, that's the important thing. I mean, listen, old people come and go. Roly polies, they're forever.
That's true.
And we got to, we have to take into consideration the welfare of the roly poly. It was evicted from its home. It was not asked. Its
It
consent
was
was
a
not given.
victim.
It was an innocent victim. Yeah.
It was, and
Yeah.
that roly poly should.
Who speaks for the roly-polies?
Well, I will. If no one else will speak for the roly poly, I will do it.
That's very big of you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, I spoke for the missing Ted Rall this morning on Deep Program.
I appreciate that too. I was like a roly-poly this morning. Mama
Sierra
Turtle.
Juliet Mike says they're pronounced Beezor.
Okay,
Beezor.
Beezor. I thought they were called potato bugs, says Mama Turtle. Potato bugs are different. Potato bugs are, they're like big, they're like big ladybugs, but a different color. They're not red. They're kind of like yellow.
But I mean, so
Yellow with stripes.
I don't know how many creatures fall into the isopod. This is a JDC question in the chat. I don't know how many creatures fall into the isopod.
Pill bugs are descended from trilobites, and they were a sea creature, and they lived, and they have evolved to live on land.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So,
much
like
Pete Hegseth.
Gross.
Who came from he's deep inside the swamp.
Like, ugh. Like, remember Swamp Thing? The show?
Yeah.
That's this. But this, I just thought that was it had a nice, happy ending for an old lady, obviously. She got the Beezor out of her.
Can you imagine, by the way, that there you are operating, and you're just like, you're getting,
and you see the
you're
thing
thinking,
moving?
you're like, and these obstructions are like not unusual. I mean, I know that people, especially when people are older, they can get them, and it is something to be aware of. And then you're like, and suddenly he's like, it's moving, and then it's like, boom, I gotta go,
and it darts out of there. But does that mean the old lady didn't chew her salad or something? Like how?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't huge, right? So she probably
I don't know. I make sure to chew thoroughly. I hope Grandma had her dentures in when she was eating the salad or whatever. Like, I just don't know. How does that happen? Oh my God. And I hate thinking about, are you a super salad washer? I am.
No, I'm not. This could happen to me. Yeah.
What is a super salad washer? What does that mean?
You carefully wash like every
Not
fucking
me.
leaf. Ted.
Absolutely not.
I do.
I always think that's
no. No, this is how the whole cyclospora thing came about, is because it was watered with shit water.
From Mexico. So buy American food. Go to your farmer's market.
I ate a salad yesterday for the first time in like.
Not to mention, this was like most people who got it initially got it from Taco Bell, right?
Yeah, because of the salad.
So they didn't. I mean, you go to Taco Bell, you don't take your shit apart and then wash it and then eat it, right?
No, that's different. I'm saying for me as a salad, like eating a salad, I ate a salad for the first time in 6 weeks, and
Tara Prentice says grow your own, but when you do that, trust me, I grow my own. There's bugs you got to wash.
I have some. No, the bugs I don't mind, but for the cyclospora problem, I made sure I sourced the the salad from California. This is like grown in the Salinas Valley. You guys would be
So they
shocked.
say. I mean, they just put a sticker on it, and then
I
it's
know
like,
I did research.
not from
I
Mexico, not from Mexico, not from
No, I
Mexico.
researched. Like I literally researched down. And so I found out all of these different brands, like Taylor Farms is to blame, right? But all of these other secondary brands, like even if you think you're paying $8 for bagged salad at Whole Foods and it's organic or whatever, Taylor Farms, it's Taylor Farms. Amazon, because Amazon owns Whole Foods, Amazon's own brand, whatever Amazon's own brand is called, I forget. That's also Taylor Farms. Walmart's brand, Market Side, also Taylor Farms. That's sold on the shelves at Walmart next to Taylor Farms. So you can buy Taylor Farms with the label Taylor Farms and pay a little bit more, or you pay the Walmart brand, which is Market Side, pay a little less, but it's all Taylor Farms. Everything is Taylor Farms. Everything. So I found this one that is a non-Taylor farm. Like it's getting harder and harder when you're talking about big ag and big food, where it's like a monopoly. Taylor Farms is apparently like has monopolized our food system. Like they are the food. They are the greens of at least big city America. Like it's terrifying.
Yesterday, me and Kizzy went to the rodeo. I don't know if you saw the pictures I sent
I saw.
on the chat. So this will freak some of the people out. So it's Little County Fairs where the rodeo is, and we had pulled pork sandwiches that they gave us for price of admission, and it was local. And the way that I know it was local beef is because we watched them kill the cows, gut the cows, strip the cows, and then cook the cow, like from start to finish, processing all right there. When the cowboys got done with the cows, down she goes. To the butcher it goes, and it was just a great time. That's the best way to get your food.
Yeah. Like
Ted, you're muted.
oh, Ted, you're muted. All natural. There
Breaking
you go.
news: Luigi Mangione says he intends to plead guilty.
Don't do it, Luigi.
I mean, we already said he would. They
I know
inspected that.
it
So.
sucks.
All right.
I mean, it sucks because this is a political act, and a political act needs a political trial, and it needs Luigi to stand up in court and explain himself, and that's not going to happen now.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, this is in an effort to get away from death row.
Yeah.
So, and I don't blame him. Like, if this is your only way out to escape death row,
shouldn't have gone to that McDonald's. Yeah. Shouldn't have taken his mask off to flirt with the chick at the.
He got Karen'd.
Yeah, he got Karen'd by some.
The McDonald's manager was a lady. I heard the call. Yeah. It was a lady. So you got Karen. There's this guy right there that looks I think it's that guy.
I think it's the guy you're looking for who killed that nice gentleman.
He's got the big eyebrows.
Yeah.
I've got breaking news too. Someone, for the very first time, my very first ever order, someone ordered a Putin Bot Gaming shirt from my Rumble store.
Congratulations.
Yay,
Thank you.
Did they ask for it in large cat size? Just wondering if it's a certain grade.
You should make pet. You should make pet shirts.
Yes, for Clovis.
Pet shirts. That would be cute. That'd be really cute. Anyway, that does it for us this Friday. Happy weekend. Hopefully we stay clear of these whatever. What is that solar storm thing called, Ted? What was it? The particle storm.
The Miyake.
The Miyake event. So now we just have to hope not to get a Miyake event.
Doesn't that sound like a 1970s movie? The Miyake effect.
The Miyake event.
Yeah.
The Miyake happening.
Watch it at the same time as the Osterman weekend.
We can write that. I was just complaining with somebody yesterday, some friends, foreign friends, and they were saying the best thing that America used to do and no longer was give the world great movies.
Yeah, that's true. That's the one thing.
Yeah, I was talking
And
to friends in India.
we also created great rock and roll too. But
Yeah,
don't
so
worry.
they loved our movies, and they were like, yeah, here in India, like you go to any gym, and they like we still have like Rocky posters up. And they said, yeah, how else did anybody still like Americans? Because you guys only drop bombs on us or give us movies, so the movies won us over, even though you drop bombs on us.
And
And I
now
was like,
now it's just the bombs. Sorry. Actually,
yeah,
though,
that's
the good
true.
news is we're out of those.
We're temporarily, but it still doesn't answer that we're not producing great content anymore.
We're not producing anything anymore. We don't make anything
So,
anymore. Yeah. Anyway.
so our movies suck. Go enjoy an old movie this weekend, everybody.
Bye.
The new
Adios,
Mortal
amigos.
Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat 2 movie was good. Most video game movies suck. That one was good.
It wasn't bad.
And
It was not bad.
and
I just saw it.
and Ted, you still got to watch The Great Awakening. I know you have not watched it yet,
I will.
and I keep hounding you about it. And you
know.
promised me that you would watch it, and you have yet to
I'll
deliver.
watch it. All right. All right.
Yet to deliver.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Adios, amigos. Bye.
Ciao.